krijues, prodhues, trajner Jan-Willem Bult dhe Aldana Duhalde. Megjithatë, ju përshëndes të gjithëve dhe ju urojmë një ditë të mbar. Mos harroni ndiqeni intervistën. So I am Enisa, and warm greetings from Kosovo for both of you. It's our pleasure to have you in our program as first guest from foreign countries. Considering your great background and experience that you have given to the children and media all around the world, welcome to our program.
Thank you. It's really a great pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Me too. Well, I'm starting with questions that I have prepared for you. Mr. Jan and Aldana, recently you have launched a campaign together called My Quarantine Life, and also from Kosovo, from our program, or delivered some videos that you have published. What can you say more about your project and experience working with kids and youth of Kosovo and from different countries?
Okay, you start.
Okay. Well, this what is very important in this time that many kids around the world, hundreds of millions, are locked in their homes, is important to listen to them, and maybe that they can talk to each other through media. And they can do that in social media when it's usually fun, 10 seconds, 15-second little jokes.
Yeah.
But we thought, if we can create a platform that not only they can tell each other stories and encourage each other, they can learn from each other, but the rest of the world, the adults, can as well. And that's why we started my #QuarantineLife.
Yeah.
Me, as well as Aldana, we have been working a long time in children's media, and we have a big network of people around the world that we started to call. Do you know kids? Can you tell to kids this exists? And this is how it slowly...
But you cannot tell the secrets. You cannot tell the secret of how we make it. Yeah. So the most important thing is that,
Well, the secret is we don't tell who we call.
Okay,
but it was Veton, for instance, was in Kosovo that I called and said, okay. Veton, you know kids.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm very happy to have Kosovo because it is so rich to know different cultures from the initiative of the kids and from the joy of that I feel in them, sharing what they are, how they dressed, what they prepare, the pride that they have, and the willing to communicate. Because what I want to say, that's why I interrupt you, sorry Jan, is that we are really focused on kids. We are really focused on kids. I mean, we are trying to make them the frame that I would never call safe, just a reference, a frame where they can feel comfortable to be themselves, the right to be themselves, the right to express whatever they want, the way they want, and even when they don't have all the technical skills, to help them in that case, if they ask for help, or if we see that maybe with this or that advice they could express better what they want to express. But only that, apart from our guidance, let's say, they are themselves. And we are working with a methodology that Jan really, I would not invent it, but really shaped during all this year, that is called Children in the Center. And this is our channel 4, to underline the importance of having children in the center, especially in these moments of crisis where all the kids have to stay home, but nobody knows what they are doing or how they are passing their time, or if they are depressed, or they want to feel like making music, or even more, this project stimulates them to have a project, and this is nice.
Well, I am...
Yeah,
sorry.
I can add to...
I am a kid. I am a kid too, and you are doing the best. And I would say thank you for this. You are doing? This is so good.
Wonderful.
Why?
Well,
Why you feel that?
Yes, because you make many children happy for posting their videos in these channels, and this is really good for them because every children just thinks that these are like, how to say, makes them happy for posting their videos. And
Yes, that's to occupy a place in the media, yeah, with a sense, with a message, with a sense of belonging.
Yeah, but you know, what I think is, and that's why I think I work so long now in children and youth media, is that in society we adults in general don't really listen to children.
yeah.
They give them a lot of tasks. They have to grow up well, they have to study well, they have to behave well. But what their opinion is, what their ideas are, usually are not asked. And of course, social media, they can connect very well. But in social media, you will not see adults. They don't learn from that. They don't see it. So we thought, okay, here's a way of connecting the world, connecting young people together, and adults to see it as well. But you're also right to be part of an international channel, that your video from Kosovo is next to one from Mexico, to one from Argentina, to one from Zambia. That is very special. We are very privileged, Aldana and I, that we are talking to these kids, to their parents. One moment I'm on the phone with Iran, the other moment with Mexico. Aldana is talking to Colombia,
This is so
Peru.
good.
And that is what is also needed now, is we are all together in the world now suffering from the coronavirus. We have complete locked up countries. Kids have to stay home, but nobody asks them, how do they feel? Do you miss your school? How maybe you love to play football with your friends and you can't now. What is it? So that's what we still feel, even though we're a little bit older. We still feel that child inside ourselves, that yes, we can imagine how it is. So if we can support it because we are adults, we have the capacities, we have the networks to do it, that's what we want to do.
And also not to be politically correct, because some kids really say, wow, we don't have school. They are obliged not to feel that as holiday. And of course, there is a danger outside the house that could kill, the elderly people or someone in their families. But also, they have the right here to say, I'm boring now. But also to say, school, I don't feel the missing, or I don't miss the school, I don't miss the study, I don't want to study. It's great that I have the chance to make different things with my family, to be more with my parents. And if they want to say, I'm having a great time, I don't miss school sucks, because one kid said that, it's okay. It's okay. We don't want to be politically correct. Maybe the system of education really is not accurate for them anymore, or in some countries, or for some personalities. So we really are open to diversity in all senses, in emotions, in feelings, in proposals, in activities, in tastes, and in the way they dress, the homes. It's so rich, languages. It is really so rich to see diversity and to learn from that. But
Well,
I think that is the best school, you know.
Well, it's interesting. Yesterday we posted the first video from Kosovo, which is a boy and his sister.
Yeah.
He's 16, she's 11, I think, and they're playing a traditional Albanian song.
Yes,
And
with
they're
a
very
traditional instrument that calls chipteli.
Chiteli. Well, they're sitting very serious in front of the camera and they perform. And immediately we can see on the YouTube channel that from different countries people want to see that.
And every culture.
And they don't know about Kosovo. They don't know this music. They don't know this guitar, I wanted to say, but this instrument. And immediately people are curious to see it. And so I imagine that if we would not have started this project, if those two kids would not have played this music in front of a camera and share it with us, nobody in the world would know this. So that is so important that I think the world will become a better place, not only for kids and young people, but also for adults when we are all together.
And this is so good because every kid just talk what they think. And it's so good. So I'm starting with the second question. What can you say more about the importance of media on education because of the lockdown of kids at home because of the COVID-19 and how youth can use media as a useful tool to be more creative and use in different formats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if I can speak first, Aldana, is it okay?
Yes, of course.
Because one of the things we also see, and that's also why we wanted this project, is there's a lot of bad information, misinformation, fake news going around. And this also influences a lot of people. So therefore, it's also important that media for education, media for change, is used in a good way. And so I consider this project as a media for change project, less than an educational project, because we don't ask specific information to share, we ask emotions to share. But news for kids, for instance, that I'm, and Aldana also, we're also doing that in our countries and around the world, is also very important. And I was very happy 5 years ago to be in Kosovo, to meet one of the schools, to have one afternoon of this debate about news for kids. And it was so clear that because there's a lot of news, but if you have a little bit more clear and you have a place where that you can trust, where the information is right, is relevant for you, is you can really understand it. That's also very important. And so my hashtag Quarantine Life also is a place where things happen, where things are said that everyone can understand from each other.
Yes.
It's really what we call peer-to-peer communication. But you know, so that's very important.
From my point of view, it all depends on the definition of education that you have. Because if you think that education is school and curricula is one thing, and if you think that this is the social dimension is another thing, and if you think that education is everything that can make you richer or make you think about you, let yourself expressed and be more critical of anything that you receive, even from your family, this is education. So for me, media is crucial in that role of making you feel and think and give a space to reflect yourself and to ask questions. Basically, for me, education in media is a possibility of feel emotions and ask any kind of questions and have possible answers. And it's like throwing the ball to you to find your own answers. So this is one on the one hand. And on the other hand, it's also important that we are making a media literacy, because with the effort of making the video, many families come together to learn how to really actually make a video that is not just for the uncle, that it is really thought for a bigger audience, and you have to use your elements better. You have to try to without going to the classic styles. You can make your own narratives, but yes, you have to make it. You have to have a length in the video that you are sending. You have to upload it, and many times the family together, many times only the kids. Make the effort, and once that you know and you do it for my #quarantine life, you can do it for anything.
Yeah.
So it's also the demonstration that you can occupy a place in media, and if you do it within certain rules, that mean that can make it fit in the media, but without really cutting your own personality, is great, because you have a tool for anything that you want to do. You have a tool of interpretation and a tool of expression.
It's also what you do yourself. You start this program in Malisheva, using the media to inform, to entertain, to connect, to gather together. Yeah. And now you just started recently, but now it's even more needed when there is this crisis, and when you really need to support each other.
It's kind of same thing with your job, because and we learn too what are doing kids in these quarantine days, and kids can learn more, so how to play at home and some other things. Well, I would say thanks both of you for giving me answers. Now I'm going to continue with the third one. Mrs. Aldana, you have also lead a lot of projects, but one of the most interesting you were as a trainer on the project of Strong Stories from Strong Children. What have you learned more about that project?
Well, to be resilient. Because the project is about resilient. That means to be stronger than what you thought you could be.
Yeah.
I mean, in a very problematic situation, or in the middle of a crisis, you have to be aware, to get active, to have different things to really survive the problem. And these little but very strong and very deep stories are based on real stories, and they reflect this little moment where you think, oh my God, I'm dying, or oh my God, this is very horrible for me to stand. So what I learned is that the strength of the story can make you stronger. I mean, telling strong stories make you stronger, because through these little stories, little I mean because they are really five minutes long, you really can go with a kid if they are well done, go with a girl, go with the boy, go in that situation, get into the tangle, get into the parent discussion, get into the problem with the school, and see how she or he, with their own resources and this inner strength, in a moment, take a decision and act and do something. And this is a lesson for life. I mean,
Aldana, can I ask you? I ask you a story? Because Aldana also wrote a story that is made into a film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell a little bit about that, the story of the bread.
Yeah, sure.
Well, my story is really one of the terrible stories, because
of your childhood, of your own childhood.
Not because of the seriousness, but yes, it was a metaphor and an example that I lived, that I will carry with me all my life. That is, my beloved granny made me buy something that was very ridiculous, far away from where we're living there, and it was very unfair. So I say, stop. I realized that it was not just because, but there was the reason behind that. He was angry with the owner of the job that was closer. So I had to go up in the hill in the middle of the winter to get some bread up in the hill. It was completely absurd. Yeah. While I have around the corner, and I say no. And I cheated on him somehow, and I changed the bags, so I made him believe that I was going up while I was going in the corner. And this, when I'm talking about not being politically correct, because you can say, well, but she is a liar, no, she is a person who thinks and who say no at a very early age and who is critical with the situation and can take other decisions and can stop a mechanism that can hurt her. So it is the importance of this kind of stories that through a little example, you have there a rebellious girl that says, no, this is unfair. So it's a way of keeping that for all your life. And when you are in a marriage or in a political situation or in a job that someone is being really unfair with you or the situation is unfair, you can speak up and say no more and change the strategy and get out of there. So through this little story, we are representing real situations of real life that can serve you somehow as a tool for all kind of experience in the future. So this is not the speculation, but this is actually what is happening.
Yeah.
And the kids see the stories and say, wow, and they feel relief because they feel how to get out of the situation. And maybe the situation that they're watching is not the same, but they can see that a kid alone could get out of the situation. Not always. There are situations that have no way out, really. But we are talking about this situation that have a margin that you have to act as a kid. And you can act. So we are backing that and we are stimulating to think that it's possible to be brave, to think and to act if you are not happy where you are.
Yes, this is so good. So, Mr. Jan, you have visited also Malisheva 5 years ago. And can you tell us what was your experience in Kosovo and what are your experiences with kids working from different countries?
Yes, well, my experience with Kosovo was, it was a dream. Because I was only there for 1 day and a half, but it felt like a week.
Oh.
I slept one night in a family, in a house of Malisheva, not in a hotel, but really with the family. So I learned to know a little bit about the habits, how families deal with each other, what kind of food they eat. Yes, the food, of course. How late they go to bed. And it was such an interesting experience. And also, I noticed the history of Malisheva, that you can really see when you look at the houses, how they are built. I learned to know about the reconstruction of the city, and I met a lot of young people, and I found a few things that I found very remarkable. First of all, you all speak very well English.
Thank you.
Yes, really, absolutely, very remarkable.
I'm
the
so
other
thankful.
Thing is, it's very helpful to speak English around the world.
Yeah.
The other thing also is that very well, a lot of knowledge, a lot of social awareness, and a lot of engagement to connect with the world. That's also what I learned. Besides the beauty of the country, a very good cold red wine that I drank, so and a great football match that we had in the village.
Yeah.
The great thing of that work, that 1.5 day work, is that maybe it's very short, but with all the social media connection that we have today, you can stay in touch and you can grow. And now 5 years later, with this project, I thought I have to contact my people in Kosovo because they should be part of this channel, and it happened. And this is how Aldana and I are using our contacts without giving the secret away, as Aldana said at the beginning. And this is how we try to connect and how to engage people and bring all these stories here. What I like about my work, working with young people, is that I think it helps me not to get too much an old guy in thinking, especially physically. I cannot stop, but in thinking especially. And this is maybe interesting.
Yeah.
I was in a car with people of my age, and the radio was on. And there was a song, I think it was a rap song, based on a song of 20, 30 years ago. And one of the guys in the car said, no, it used to be much better 30 years ago. And I said to him, but you're wrong. Everything today is better. But you have to learn to see it, you have to learn to see it from today without all your memories, all your nostalgia of the past. So this is what I learned from such a situation is if I work with young people, I have to explain everything that is older than 10 years.
Yes.
Because I was there 10, 50 years ago, but many of them were not there or were very young. So you can never think that like yourself, because I'm much older, so I have a lot of history. I've seen many things that you have no idea about, for instance. But you are in a world where I'm not in, or at least not much. I am on TikTok, but of course I'm an old man for TikTok. But I'm interested in what's going on there. What kind of video languages are people doing? I want to learn from that, and then I want to pass that on to others. So I really love to work with young people, because it's also the energy of the idea that so many things can still happen, while many people who are older and not working with kids are like forgetting that life should be exploring new things, having dreams, having passions. I'm very grateful to young people that they help me to keep my passions.
Yeah, and I think every kid should be a part of these things, like posting videos that what are they doing in quarantine days, but also if they have a dream or if they have something that they don't like, and this is so good.
We are very surprised about the kind of stories that we get. We had a great story from a Mexican girl, I think she's 10, who really says it's boring, I don't want to be. So, but she invented things, how she could make her life in quarantine attractive.
Sure.
Well, she tells this on camera, others can learn from it. Today we post a story of an 8-year-old boy from Argentina who loves football a lot, but how can he keep that passion alive while being in quarantine in a small house? Well, he finds a way, and he shares it with others. We have this beautiful music from Kosovo. We are now working on the translation of a poem from Colombia, a girl who wrote a poem about quarantine. So it's for us it's such an enrichment of our lives, and to see all these great things happening.
It's a huge variety, and coming back to what Jan was talking about, still being fresh, let's say, it's so good because you really have experience of having life lived, and the combination of your experience and the voice, the real voice, not to have a microphone in front of the kid, but the real voice, the expression, the body language, the willing to tell things or not to tell, the experience that they have, that combination, instead of being a clash, is really something that can be a very, very deep dialogue between generations, between personalities, between my experience and the new points of view. The fact really is to break assumptions, prejudice, stereotypes, but with the experience that we have on how can we make them shine in a scenario or a frame, because sometimes they have great ideas, but they are not completely shaped. So the combination is interesting of the knowledge, the experience, the 2, 4, 10 concepts, no more than that, but they're enough to put you in a much better position to tell your stories. This is our role. To awake the willing and to give some tips and tools, but without castrating you, without killing you, without killing your essence. This is our aim.
Well, I have one little secret that I want to share, and that is what I do to try to have the same energy, the same open mind as when I was much younger. Everything that I do, I consider that I do it for the first time. Maybe I've done it already 2,000 times, but I consider it's the first time. For instance, this interview. Yeah. I am preparing this interview like it's my first. And it's the same honor as my first interview to be interviewed by you. This is what I learned from young people, because you go through things for the first time, many times, and you have a lot of energy. You want to change the world. You want to conquer the world. Well, that I try to have with everything I do. I consider as if it's the first time.
Yeah.
That's my trick. So when you are 45, you have to think of this. Then do everything as if it's the first time, and it's much nicer.
Yeah, I will. So, can you tell me from which countries you have received more videos?
Argentina, I think, is the most. Maybe Mexico and Argentina are the most. Yes, Aldana has been working very hard on that. So Latin America is very strong in the cooperation. Ukraine. Now we are getting more and more from Kosovo. But we have from many countries we have from Tunisia, from the Netherlands, from Ukraine, from Zambia,
from United States, from Italy. Yeah. We have a lot of countries, and it is it's really emotional at the moment, because imagine that many of us, Argentina, for example, is completely obliged to be at home. The kids are obliged to be at home, and the families too. So it is like, well, they say this old metaphor of a window to a world. And yes, it is. It's a way of having new friends somehow, because they discover, and if you participate in my #quarantine life, which are all invited, and please send the videos, because we really want to know you, and the world wants to know you. It's incredible. If you participate, you really get engaged, and you want to know all the videos, and you are very tender with the judgment of the others. All of them, when I experience other kids watching the videos of my #quarantine life, they really respect the other. No matter what, if it is a little animation that could have lots of mistakes from the point of view of a really, I don't know, a director of animation, they are really heart open to the stories and really recognizing the effort and the willing to communicate, and that they are doing the organization to send the message to the world. They respect each other so much. Yeah. They never say, oh, this is horrible, they passed it, or no, each of them has a space, and the kids that watching them respect them because they've been through the experience. They send the video, they're exposed to judgment. So it's really like, I don't know, but a dialogue and a community of respect and mutual admiration, that they dare to give their dreams and to share their dreams or their feelings, even when they are bad. So yeah. This is very nice. I found it very nice that nobody says, no, this video is boring. They really love the other kids that are there, because they did the same, and they are exposed in the same way, the authors, yeah. I mean. So it is really interesting to see that, because we can say, well, this is not so good to put because it's badly illuminated or whatever, and they really don't care about that. They are much more focused on the kid. And this also happened in Strong Story. It doesn't matter if it is a Hollywood, cinematographic realization. No, it's just if the story is good, if the character is good, is what he or she has to say is important, that's enough. And this is a very clear message. The rest is noise.
Yeah, well, I have a talent in music, so I can sing really good. And I would love to send you some of my covers that I made in home.
Of course.
Yes. Yes. But so the only thing that we ask for our videos, which have to be between 60 and 90 seconds, the only thing we ask is that you introduce yourself, tell where you are in quarantine, eventually with whom, and then you can do or say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I can do this. I can do this.
Great.
We're expecting.
Thank you.
Yes,
Well,
I'm dying to know what you're doing. Yes, and be free and feel confident, because the only thing that we want is to have your experience. I mean, if you're talented, much better, but it is just the participation is a talent already.
Yeah, we're not specifically looking for super talent. Like many television is doing that. Anyone with any talent, and anyone has a talent, and nothing has to be perfect. We just want to show how kids are.
yeah,
The
sure.
important thing, the important thing, the way which everybody can help. I mean, in this case, adults, kids, protagonists or not protagonists, the one that dare, or the one that don't dare, is to subscribe, to like, to support the project. Because as long as we have more, let's say, I don't like the word success, but the success is to be seen and to be told and to have someone that wants to listen to the story.
Yeah.
So if others don't want to participate in the way that you want to participate, they can also participating precisely, seeing, watching the channel, and being there with all these kids of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you say, success for us is not primarily ratings. It's great, of course, and we can say it goes very well with the channel. But for us, success is when we create a new community, when people are connected through this platform. That is success. And so we want as many as possible countries to be on this channel.
Can you tell me what is your suggestions for us as a new program and kids who are watching our program here in Malisheva?
Hmm?
Yes. Well, again, for me,
it's a question for both of you. So what is your suggestion for us as a new program and kids who are watching our program here in Malisheva?
Aldana, you?
From my point of view, is not to be afraid to express and to find new narratives, but also to respect the classic. Mm-hmm. I mean, to really have the combination between the classic tools and frames and the new narratives. Because if the new narratives are so strong that are confused for the others, it's difficult to arrive. And the classics are classics for a reason.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make a news, it has to look like a news program. And you have to respect the most essential basic of the news program. I mean, the diversity of sources, really the well-expressed information, the well use of words, and then you can fly in another genres or in another, even inside the news you can have that permissions, but clearly separated or clear orientated and not confusing information with a free expression, with opinion, with stories. Try to be really clear in what you want to express. And if your expression is to experience or to be really experimental, let's say, well, to put that in clear, and then you can do whatever you want. But I don't like to have one thing in the place of the other. I mean, the famous as if I were informing you. I mean, this is information and it's not. It's a joke or it's a comedy program. Well, it's different, you know. So this kind of confusion, my advice is to have you yourself clear what you want and the effect that you want to to cause, to really have a reflection on what you are doing. And then from there, be free. It's complicated. It's not easy.
Yeah, well, maybe I can try to compact it. In fact, if you are making a TV program in a genre, like news, like entertainment, like sports, you really have to learn the language of that genre.
Yes.
And if you can do that, if you are capable of doing it, like Aldana calls it the classics, if you really are capable of doing those genres, then it would be great to invent new things.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you have no idea about the genres and the classics and the rules of that, how can an audience understand what you're doing? So the audience, when you say, okay, we're going to make a sports program, everybody knows that there will be a presenter, there will be pieces of sports, there will be interviews. They expect that from you. If you say, well, we make a news show, well, we're going to do research, we do journalistic approach, so we ask questions, but not only to one party, also to the opponent. That this is part of the genres. And I completely agree with Aldana. It's so great also to develop new things, because television has to develop. It should constantly find new narratives, new styles, maybe new genres will be born. 20 years ago, reality TV came. Before that, it wasn't there. Somebody, started and it became a new genre. Now, for instance, for people of your age, TikTok is very popular. In TikTok, I see great new storytelling. I like it a lot. Okay, so these kind of things should be there, but basically, when you make television, you have to learn to understand what the genre is, how to approach it. That there's an audience watching you that should understand what you do and should be able to trust you. So you really have to know for sure what you're saying. And then again, always with the approach of it's my first show, the same energy every time. Don't think that if you have made 100. Now I know everything and I will be... No, again, do it like it's your first program. I'm trying to do that all the time. And of course, you will carry more and more experience. So some things go easier, but the moment you get too easy, you get a little bit lazy, then things get boring. And that is what we should prevent. But for now, it is try it, read about it, watch a lot of television, understand it, and don't be afraid of making mistakes.
Yeah, well, I also watch these TikTok videos, and I see many children with different ages that are posting some. So like, what are they doing in this time? But also, so we can learn more from them for their culture and many things. Well, I would say both of you, thanks a lot for your time and suggestions for our program Florint on TV Malisheva. And it's our pleasure to share your stories with our audience. Thanks again.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Greetings
Only
from
one
Netherlands.
thing I want to add, if I can have the space, is that when we call television, it's television as we know, and it's television, I mean vision in a distance. So we are talking also about all kind of platforms because we don't know. I'm trying to say that the important thing is what you have to say and how are you going to say it more than where are you going to say it, because it is constantly changing. And this is so great that me from Argentina, he from the Netherlands, you from Kosovo are in a dialogue of all these kind of things that we have to thank technology because it's super important at this moment without never forgetting that any tool and any technology has two sides. You have to use it for a good or use it for a bad. Well, we suggest use it for a good, keep on doing what you're doing, and peace.
Thank you again. again, and have a nice time for both of you.
Thank you.
You too.
Greetings
You too.
from the
Thank you a
Netherlands.
lot.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Greeting from
Bye.
Kosovo too. Bye.
Bye bye.